Okay, so I'm gonna do a trade review, and here we go. So today was CPI, but it wasn't the cleanest CPI. So I'll just start on the 4 hour, I guess. All right, so here's what we're looking at prior to CPI. So it's obvious that we're bullish. We're gonna take all-time high. It's just a matter of time. Um, you can see now that on the Dow, we need to take these highs out, or else we would have monthly SMT, and that would lead us to expansion lower. So the giveaway for the the giveaway for the upcoming poor price action in CPI would be given to us right there from the fact that Dow needs to go so high up, um, which would lead to NQ and ES being a lot slower and retracing harder than I guess they should. So now we're gonna go down to 1 hour. So there's 5 a.m. There's 7. So right before CPI, we see that. Let's see. So Monday, Tuesday, got a crack. Oh, that's not a crack. Never mind. There was nothing. Yeah, there's nothing there. But there was just a PSP. But pretty much we had the expansion right. Um, right here you can see the range on Dow. Pretty much these highs were the target because if these highs aren't swept, then it would result in that monthly SMT going lower. So Dow needed to reach these highs, and Q went ahead and reached the highs, and ES reached the highs right at CPI open. So then it opens up, hits all the highs at open, and then after that pulls back. So right over here, barely touches it on the Q, on ES, sweeps it pretty powerfully, and retraces lower. So there's that 9 o'clock candle. Then you have a 15-minute PSP, pull back up, and then we come down, and then we find a crack, new week opening gap, and true day open right there in the 15-minute. And as you can see by this time, like when this candle right here was going lower on the QNES, Dow was already expanding. Dow was already at true week. And then this next candle, which was, let's see how much that was. So on NQ, this candle was 0.3%. While on the Dow, 0.45. So 50% more. And plus it's the Dow, which doesn't run ever. So it's more impressive than it looks. So then it ran all the way, swept these highs. I'm way above true week. It's in a safe place for it to chill for the rest of the day. And then NQ and ES find their way higher and then grind their way up for the rest of the day. So now it questions where would the best entries be. In terms of quarterly theory, the best entry would definitely be, I mean, right here it hit true open, right? So we had true day open with the new week opening gap. That's the most classic one, plus Fair Valley Gap SMT. So that's like the bread and butter of today, but it was very difficult to see it due to us retracing the entire CPI range. The entire CPI range ending the retracement at 10 o'clock. which is very unusual for CPI. But in our case, it makes complete sense because the whole entire time Dow was expanding. So let's look at the trades that I took. Go ahead and open them up. Go there. So my first trade was on the 1 minute, right over here. So the basis behind this one was opening range gap. So I pretty much wanted to target the range highs. So I entered like this, right? And then my TP was the high. If I aimed for 3R only, I entered on this next candle right here. If I went for 3R only, I would have had the dub, but I wanted to see the high taken because I expected expansion either way, even though Dow was there. I still expected expansion after such a deep retracement. Along with right here's a microcycle, PSP, and then we didn't dip down below this one here. We dipped there. But when we went higher, we were met with 90-minute cycle, which I didn't confirm it. I just didn't trust it yet. That's on the higher time frame. Here's a 90-minute. You can see it's a hidden 90 right there, which sent price lower. So that sent price lower, but I was still pretty confident with the buys, so I entered a buy right there, took that loss, and it was 1 RR loss because I risked just normal amount. And then comes the classic orb entry, which is the one that I am mainly here for today, which is the one that I will take on Top Step X after this month and ongoingly. So for this entry, right, so we're marking off a low of 930, first 15-minute range and high. So we close below the range, right? First candle retracement right here. Enter the moment it closes. Stop loss at the high, at the high of the body of the previous candle. In this case, it's just perfect how we also had this immediate rebalance, as well as, I believe, no, nothing there. I thought that was a PSP. Bam. That was not a PSP. But anyway, rebalance to opening range along with this gap and this candle over here, and then just ran lower, 3R. So here's a 1 minute version of it. So right there, that's 940, 950, I believe, or 955. I think it was 950. Let me see. Yeah, 950 close. So 955, I entered on there. It sent lower. Now, the exit in terms of the actual strategy was 3R and it was delivered. As you can see, the exact 3R was delivered. New opening gap. I didn't leave at exactly 3R. I left a tiny bit higher because I wanted to see us go a bit lower and take the lows before we reverse so that Dow and could just have more, liquidity to get sent higher. So then I just called it there, and that was about 2.5 RR. But that was not a Top Step X, and in terms of back testing and for the future on Top Step X or Top Step, I'd always do 3RR. But I'm on My Fund the Futures, so in these trades, the past run My Fund the Futures, in there I'm practicing trading in the range, so opening range trades, along with um, just not having fully mechanical orb setup. So Anyway, technically, the actual main trade of the day, main strategy right here was delivered perfectly. The 3RR was there. So in my case, this would be an A setup because there was higher time frame SMT, um, lower time frame SMT. So we have this plus we have the hidden, right? We have the higher time frame, which is the 1 hour, um, and then we have the retest. So this would be a risk of 150. So this technically would be 450 across 5 accounts, 450 on 5, like 2,000, I think. So anyway, solid trade. Um, and the funniest thing about it all is that look, all it comes down to is just entering in a retracement in the range. Because if you retrace into the range, even if you have manipulation, like in this case, this was manipulation that I traded through, you'll still win. It doesn't matter. It's just the idea of range to expansion. And then last but not least, my final trade, I took an entry right over here, that PSP. Right, where is the yes? Okay, so right here was a PSP. So at this PSP, I decided if we're gonna be short, we're not gonna sweep it because it's a PSP and it's bearish on here. I was pretty confident with the reversal, but I still gave it one quick shot. So as you can see, this one was left really quickly, and then I went in for the buy, and right here, this candle swept this candle right there at the lows, and then we had two PSPs along with a valid, I mean, I guess it's a valid reversal because of the true day plus new week opening gap, which isn't straight up SMT with the high, like with the lows, but it's still very powerful. So then I went in, I entered one mini risk and one 4.5 RR to here, and then passed the challenge. So in total, right here, this trade was break even. This trade was a loss. So 0 minus 300. Then this one was plus like 700, I think. No, more. I ended up plus 500 after this one. Then after this one, I was plus 100. And then this one was a win that took me to passing the count. And so that was it for that one. Now, let me see if it updated my accountant stats. Yes, it did. As you can see, my first day, this was last Thursday before I used the orb setup and looked at price with opening range for entries. And then after that, I used opening range for entries. Friday, I had that really smooth win. Yesterday, again, had a really classic clean trade. And then today, I don't know why it's not showing. But today was also a clean win. So green, 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 using orb. So far, so good. And it doesn't want to update. I don't know why. Anyway, so that's account passed. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. So that's it. And oh, obviously I'll show you guys Top Step X trade. So Top Step X, what happened on there is I pretty much just tripped up a little bit. So let me find it. Here's pretty much what happened. So I was gonna take the same exact trade on there, but my first one, so I expected it to rip a little bit below that new week opening gap to take the low. But my first entry was on the down close candle right here, and I entered right like near the low right here. I entered right, and my stop loss was instantly placed to this previous high because I didn't expect the retracement to go all the way. Because I also saw the gap, so I was like, all right, it's not gonna go all the way. Then after that, when I saw this, I saw I entered two, right? I was going to pyramid down. So I entered two. Then I go in for a pyramid entry. And on the pyramid entry, I'm like, wait a minute. If it's a pyramid entry, then I might not be able to take a partial. So then I go to my settings and I look at it and it says 2 because before it was locked out. And I go back and I'm like, oh shoot. And then I go and I click short, so sell, and then I try to do it also quickly, but then I end up selling it literally on this line right here. No, not this line right here. So that sucked. And then obviously that tiny little retracement, which, I mean, really minuscule, takes me out and calls it a day there. But I'm not mad about it because if you look at the actual paper pencil strat, it was there. And if I took it at 7, right? So what is this? So if we take high to low, we take the exact entry and we put it here. So that's 300 ticks, right? Because I'm risking, okay, 309. So 309 times, what's 7 times 7 times 5? 7 times 0.5 is $3.05 a tick. So 3.5 times 309. So 3.5 times 309. So that would result in 1081, would put me into the green on the account. So not really mad about it. I'm chilling. We're gonna see how tomorrow goes. In tomorrow's case, I will be only using. I'm only taking one. Max loss will be 500 because 500 is 100 ticks. So I shouldn't really be risking any more than that. No, not 500, 400 because that would give me 2 days. So one trade, 400, no pyramid entries, just full. I'm entering literally at that pullback handle, and that's it. So easy as that. And I'll go ahead and lock it out right now. So it'll liquidate me, and then it'll pretty much block my account out. So there we go. So we'll see how that goes. And my other accounts, I just lock them out instantly. Let me just go through that real quick. But I'm practicing all of August doing this orb entry. And if it goes well, then I'll have a solid looking September doing literally the same exact thing. So that's good practice. And then also I passed another Top Step account. So if I do lose this one, worst case scenario, then I'll have a fresh new one at balance 0. It's already passed. Obviously for 150, it's worth it. And then I'll literally just keep practicing on it with the 4 and just enter. And also I have the MFF one, so I'm going to be entering on MFF and Top Step at the same time tomorrow on the pullback. So orb, pullback, entry first, the L close or up close candle, back into the range, and 3RR guaranteed. So that's it. Simple as that. And yeah, I'm calling it a day. I'm going to go back test the whole month of January and post a video of myself doing it. So I'll make a new series of myself just backtesting all of January, February, and so on until today, using this exact strategy of orb for entry and obviously SMT and all that on the higher time frame. And I have an Excel sheet. It's very simple, but pretty much counting daily P&L, total P&L for the month, weeks and losses, and total RR. Because after I see that, I'm able to say like, okay, like it's gonna take me 2 months, or it's gonna take me 3 months to hit a live account. And then using that logic, I'm able to kind of have a forecast for the next few months. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.